Hi. So this is going to be, at least I'm going to try to make it a relatively quick video about my plans for 3.25 and some basic things. So first of all, obviously Melee got huge changes overall, with the main thing being really that some skills like double strike and double strike impaling got massive, almost 3 times the increased amount of damage as beforehand. So skills like that, skills like bleed, lacerate, perforate, sweep, chain hook if you're, crazier than me. And then of course my favorite, Glacial Hammer, is up there too with some of the higher ones. So talk about that. And if you're looking for any kind of general advice on like, oh, melee skills to use, skills to work with, right now it seems like the biggest winner out of all the melee skills are the bleed ones, lacerate of hemorrhaging and perforate of bloodshed. If you want to be able to experience the entirety of everything that's changed, I would 100% recommend just going Gladiator and testing out the new bleed skills. If you're a fan of them, good. If not, Gladiator has a bunch of other options with the massive block scaling, with the luckiness. You can get like 94% chance to block and then just be able to use basically any of these skills. Like double strike of impaling would probably be your best bet as a backup in that sense. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, go that direction. Honestly, Gladiator might be your best bet for being able to switch, because obviously they've given us a new way to respec our build, so there's a lot more leniency in what you're able to test. Now onto the main things, the one I'm going to be starting now. I personally love Glacial Hammer. It was one of the first real big builds I actually put effort into and thought about a lot. So naturally, I'm working on it again. As for Bleedquake is good. It's still going to be good because they didn't even change Tempest Rising. You can still go through that method, and you don't have to invest in the aggravated bleed. It's still probably better if you do, so you don't have to wear Tempest Rising, and so you don't have to reach over and grab that chill node. It'd still be pretty nice, but in general, that build's pretty untouched, and it's just generally buffed. As for Glacial Hammer, there's a bunch of changes, especially from 3.23, because I didn't really do any kind of alteration in 3.24. Necropolis wasn't really a big change for Melee in general, so I didn't find it too important to look. In terms of the actual usability of this POB, look at the fact that I have 107 levels in right now. I'm just testing things. This is just my kind of theory crafting right now, so you can see where I'm at and what I'm thinking about. The actual guide and stuff is going to come after I've actually been able to test, the build and actually a league started, because right now this is all theory crafting, and I am a personal proponent of not just trusting your big number on your POB and just actually trusting how it feels, especially now that most melee skills seem to have the damage to support them. Then it comes down to playstyle. So, basic stuff. With the changes to Rage, Berserker is actually your best choice still, because it's the only one that makes Rage give the attack speed. And now we can invest much more into Rage. There's Rage reductions, there's increase in Rage, there's armor per Rage, and then the big one, the massive 10 maximum Rage. And because it now gives a attack more multiplier, we are getting way more damage. So you got that. Obviously there's also, let's just go over to the equipment right now. There's the Celestial Brace, of course. We're not using Ungol's Hunger because theoretically you'd actually want to use Bear's Griddle. It gives 10 maximum now, not 20. But that would be the best one. And then you just want to stack life with the increased life on basic stairs. But yeah, Celestial Brace. Obviously, Mathel used the Celestial Brace. And I'm kind of taking a little bit from him, of course. The iteration of ideas. This is how experimentation works, of course. And Celestial Brace allows us to scale fortification, which increases our damage through the attack speed, and allows us to play more defensively with higher amounts of flat damage reduction. So that's nice. That's very good. That's very good for us because obviously one of the biggest things, and it's still going to be true in the following version of this build, is it's gonna be all or nothing. There's still going to be... You're not going to be able to tank a lot of hits. You're going to have to be aware and dodge stuff. And I don't mind playing like that, especially with the new Vengeful Cry retaliation skill. So it's like it gives us buffs for rage generation and prevents it from decreasing. I'm super excited. So you got this. Anything major? Yeah, still running Winds of Fate. Obviously, same thing. Eventually, you do want to replace Winds of Fate with a higher physical DPS weapon at equal to or above, because at that point you don't want to deal with the not being able to do damage on non-critical strikes. Yeah, for the most part, same things. This is in place of Vengeful Cry. Infernal Cry 2. Infernal Cry now gives Fizz as extra fire, which is just flat more damage. And considering that we're scaling Rage as a flat attack damage and not anything specific to elemental damage, it's just good to have the flat and damage. There's also the potential of having the block chance over here with the staff and the glacial blows, because according to this it gives me 70 and 34, which is just nice to have, even if it's only a 65% damage reduction. That's the current plan right now. There's nothing really crazy and like experimental with this, other than the fact that you're going with more rage stacking emphasis, and it's just let me change that. It's just about the same. There's also the reductions with armor in general from determination. So you're definitely gonna want to try and bump up the elemental max resist and get any kind of fizzed elemental as you can. And then eventually you probably want to steal Unbreakable now, because that gives armor applied to chaos, and since armor's our main defense here, that's just going to be nice for dealing with chaos. And then on basically all your equipment here, you just want to fill it up with elemental resistances, movement speed. You don't really need much besides maybe a little more crit multiplier and all that, because obviously we're getting a lot of crit multiplier naturally. And then eventually, you can switch over some of this and this for cluster jewel right there and one right there. All right, that's the general idea right now for the Glacial Hammer of Shattering. In terms of what I'm going to do while leveling, because of the variety of skills now available, I'm probably just going to go with the classic Sunder, maybe try some other skills that work well with two-handed weapons. If we're looking at the relative damage, might actually try Perforate, because Perforate got a nice damage buff, and I kind of actually like how Perforate goes. But, you can go with your classic Sunders, you can go with Cleave. Basically, try it out. Enjoy the video game. Enjoy the new changes and see which one you like. Because theoretically, they're trying to make basically any melee skill usable. Alright, that's it for the current plans for this. Obviously, update within the first couple days of the League coming out. You can expect that. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about Hollow Palm, because I'm a Hollow Palmer. I like the palm. And the changes to melee in general have actually indirectly buffed this, along with the gladiators double the inherent bonuses from dual wielding, because while you're dual wielding, Hollow Palm gives you 40% more attack speed. plus the flat 20 block chance that you get. And if you grab that on Ascendant, because compared to Gladiator or even Warden, Gladiator would obviously be more defensive. Warden's obviously more attack oriented. This one cuts a nice even between the two. That's 80% increased attack speed, plus all the dexterity you're grabbing, and the massive amount of flat damage that it naturally gets. So, you grab Gladiator, you grab Warden for suppression, penetration, and additional tincture, because what usually happens with Hollow Palm is you don't really have much room for reservations. You could put like maybe 2, fit in a third one if you wanted, but you just focus on these 2, and then use all that mana burn to run 2 extra tinctures. So that's a potential thing. You're over here, you grab the dual wield, you grab everything over here, you do the classic run up for all the dexterity and life and that kind of thing. And so you include that, and you use, of course, I'm running this just to get the block chance to show up on the thing. And then you use a replica perfect form, almost unused item that gives you versatile combatant, so you don't have to stretch your arms all the way over there on the tree to grab it. And also a flat 20% additional chance to block attack damage. So with this and the Ascendancy, you are at a 60% chance to block attack damage without any other investment. And there are plenty of ways to invest into dual wielding block chance now, because you got this, you got 10, you got another 8. There's some right here, you got another 3, and got another 10. So you can almost completely max out your block chance here. Now granted, you're not getting the lucky. That's why I say running this on Gladiator would definitely be more defensive. But in terms of splitting the difference between the two, this one gets you that double bonus, which is the main thing you really want. And then you come over here to get some extra suppression to help with suppression reduction. Over here, yeah, that's the overall plan. So this will probably be the second one. I might actually make a guide on this depending on how successful it is. If I don't end up doing one, then it was probably a flop, or I just got bored. But what can you do? Games for fun. Alright, that's about it. That's about everything. I'm excited. I am really excited for this update. Yeah. Like, subscribe, YouTube shit.